Okay, so welcome guys, and let us start today. Okay, so far the market movement is, right now we are watching through the 1 hour time frame chart, and the changes hasn't been massive guys. Okay, so prices has been slowing down over the last 4 hours without any clear market movements for now. But definitely one of the main things that we are trying to look out for is the possibility that prices should be starting to move in a clear trend. Since prices has already been consolidating for most of the time, I'm definitely expecting that prices should start to move for now. With prices has been stuck around this, so definitely we are expecting that prices should be moving soon, and we are seeing consolidations has been forming over time. And definitely I'm expecting that prices should be starting to react soon guys. Okay, so far prices has been stuck at these tight ranges, and if you guys could look carefully there, it's very clear that prices has been slow. That is certainly the case, and one of the things that we can do is we can try to trade too much, and we can easily hit our stop losses as prices has been just ranging. So that could be one of the scenario that is happening, or we can try to wait for clearer market movements, which could take some time, which could happen, which could not happen, and eventually we don't trade if there's no clear market movement. So there are two choices, and if you guys has been choosing to trade more on the time side, I believe most of you guys are having a hard time to make that big swing movement on the market, and it's likely to easily hit the losses in the case of that scenario. But right now, if we are seeing through this 15-minute time frame charts, everything seems very encouraging guys. It seems that prices are trying to go higher. Okay, and definitely right now they are building up, I would say, the price movement as well on this side of the chart. So we'll see how this goes. This prices has been consolidating a lot of time. So far prices are right now still slowing down, showing no clear signs, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so far what we are able to see is prices has been consolidating and hasn't been able to show clear signs. So if we are trying to take a longer view on the market since yesterday, so we are actually have been seeing that prices has been breaking out higher after yesterday's move has been breaking down lower, and that really gives the sign that prices has been able to at least try to break out higher, and it has happened. But other than that, we started to see that prices starts to rebound, try to maintain its price above 3,300, and they did it fantastically well, even though the volatility is very high in a very short period of time, but the movement isn't very clear. It has been ranging between 3,290 towards 3,310. However, we started to see that prices has already been going higher afterwards, and the market movement is happening mostly after the US market sessions almost ends, and prices just keeps on rising until the Asian sessions almost over, and then we started again to see, yes, prices has reconsolidate again for once, and Prices are right now just bouncing between 3,320 towards 3,330 without any clear directions until now. We are started to see some much convincing sign that prices could start to go higher, even though prices right now is a little bit limited too, but at least the signs out there is much better than initially expected. I'm expecting that finally we could start actually prices to start drop or finally starts rising, but so far we haven't yet gotten the confirmations, and we can only get clearer confirmations after prices could at least break out higher than 3,333, because so far prices has once again been ranging on this market. So we'll try to see how this goes. Personally, I'm seeing that 3,300 should be a strong support for this week, even though it has been bouncing over up and down across those market multiple times, but every single time we started to see some signs, prices always starts to go higher from those price. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so far it seems that we are starting to see some signs that the US dollar index should be weakening, and I think that's one of the main reasons we started to see prices to start to go higher from here. And once that happens, it seems that a lot of good signs could start happening soon. We'll see how this goes, but certainly if the US dollar index starts to recover some strength, we could actually see there's a huge possibility that prices will start ranging for once again. So definitely I would love to see how this breakout works, whether prices could break higher than 3,333, because we've really been seeing this range for quite some time, guys. Okay, so yes, I want to see how prices are going to break out higher than this, because so far prices has failed to do so. So around these prices, I want to see how that breakout works. Okay, so definitely it's going to take some time from what I could see, as prices are still stuck between these ranges, and we'll see whether prices could start breaking out higher or not, because so far prices has been stuck and I'm not really seeing any clear signs of the market for now. Okay, so if you guys love what you guys have been hearing, you guys could give us a thumbs up, give us your support, and definitely if you guys have any other questions on the market, you guys could let me know. I will definitely try my best to help you, but we'll see how this goes. I'm still seeing that the market has been quite stagnant and hasn't been able to show any clear momentum on the market, especially during our live streaming session. So I think it's going to be a long night again as usual, but you guys are welcome to join along us, and I'll be analyzing other trading assets outside of gold if there's any interesting market movement happening on the other side of the market. So for instance, we could maybe started to see some good possibility happening on the silver market, all market, I'll be letting you guys know. But so far, we haven't been able to see much, and we are seeing the resistance area at 3,330 area has been quite strong and hasn't been able to push further more than that. But definitely, if you guys are interested to learn how to trade, how to view the market, you guys are welcome to drop in questions about trading, and I hope I could help you guys understand where you guys could start. And maybe if you guys are interested to learn, you guys are also welcome to join our live trading analysis together here, as I will be analyzing most of the trading assets on the forex market, commodities, metals, as well as the currency side. So you guys are welcome. And definitely, I would say right now prices are still reconsolidating, moving up, building a base, even though the market movement hasn't been much. But certainly we could be actually starting to see some clearer market movement soon happening here. But so far we haven't been able to see one. Prices are still slowing down. We'll see how this goes. And definitely one of the most interesting things that I've been seeing is the possibility that prices could start to move higher, showing, but the momentum is still slow. We are going to wait, guys. But certainly based on our earlier analysis, we have already been seeing that prices has been going up quite strong since the earlier market sessions. After touching the 3,300 support area, prices has been going up very fast from 3,300 to 3,330 without any stop, and that really gives us no good or clear entry point. And despite this is a 15-minute time frame chart, so it's definitely a tricky market, and we'll see how this goes. And definitely from the signs, prices has been trading in a really huge volume in this stagnant sideways. So definitely I'm going to see prices will be around here for quite some times with this kind of price actions that we are looking on the charts. Okay. Next, I think I'll be trying to analyze what is happening on the silver market. See what is going on, and let us see what could be happening from there. Okay, so silver market. Okay, so what is actually happening on the silver market? So if you guys are taking a closer look, that since prices has been dropping since yesterday, we started to see prices has actually managed to rebound from the lows at $32.74, and prices has been able to rise up. Even though the price action hasn't been that well in terms of what I will be expecting coming out from the movement, but slowly but surely prices are going up higher. Even though the build up isn't that well, but prices still managed to go higher. But overall, despite prices seems like trying to move higher and goes higher, but what I am actually looking is these very tight ranges that the silver market has been trading. So as you guys could see, the market has been very tight. Movement hasn't been huge. There's no swing like the ones that we are watching like yesterday happening. It's very similar with what we are currently seeing on gold, has been stuck on the sideways. And with this kind of market movement, it will be a very tricky move for once, and there are not going to be a lot of great momentums happening in here as well, I believe, with this kind of slow market movement. And I believe this should be happening with the possibility that most of the events has came out, there's no big news happening at the end of the week, and we are still seeing how the market will be moving next after the US tax bills will be going on from there, because so far it seems like everything are still quiet, even though from the news side we have already been seeing that most of the issues should be over, but people are not yet moving much from here, and we'll likely to see more market movement later on. But with this kind of very tight ranges, it is certainly a very tough market over the last few hours, especially during the rise it hasn't been much, during the drops it hasn't been much as well. Okay, so I will try to see how this moves and give you guys more information when things move much better from here on. Okay, so far we have already been discussing what is happening on both the gold and the silver market on the short-term basis, and we'll see how this goes. But certainly the price action are starting to show some improvement, definitely, but it has not been that convincing to see that this will be continuing, guys, because so far price is still stuck between these ranges, guys. 3,320 to 3,330, and yep, this is the market that we have been looking. No big swings, no big movements, no big momentum. Okay, so we'll see how this moves, and later on I'll be discussing what is the prospect for the gold market movement in the long term and on the silver market as well, and let us also analyze together what could be happening on the US dollar index. Okay. Okay, so far price movement hasn't been much. So let us try to see what is happening on the long-term market on the gold. Okay. So far, the long-term market movement on gold has actually been showing us one thing, that prices are likely to build up the topping phase. And why I am saying that, because so far from what we could be seeing on the market is prices has been really just moving on these ranges. Because if you guys take a closer look, prices has just been stagnating between 3,200 towards 3,400 over the last 1 month, and hasn't been actually showing any clear market movements, even though yes, we have some movements, and it seems that on the long-term basis prices seems likely to continue the uptrend that we have been looking here. So if you guys are looking on the long-term market, this is a daily charts, we can actually see that prices has been continuing to go higher. But at the very least, we started to see that the market movement here started to slow down, hasn't been able to move clearly, and prices has just been moving on certain times, and that has definitely made some short-term trading, swing trading has been a little bit difficult on the short-term view. But certainly the long-term market movement is also in a jeopardy personally, because I'm still seeing that the possibility that market movement will be moving on these ranges is pretty huge, and the resistance area at 3,350 still exists. We're likely to see how this reacts on the market, whether prices could start breaking out higher or not. Okay, so definitely the long-term market movement is in a total, I would say it's also in a very critical point of price. If prices just get stuck on the sideways range, it could be bringing a little bit of problem for the long-term market movement, as the momentum is also slowing down, showing no sign of movement. If the price movement just starts between 3,200 towards 3,400 with no clear directions, and that could be leading to a harder market to trade, or we could actually start seeing that prices could be breaking out higher or breaking down lower. But personally, I'm still seeing that good chances we could actually see that the gold market will start to slow down and maybe breaking down lower on the long run, even though it could take some time before that happens. But the reality that we are looking is prices are heading towards that directions. Okay, and certainly on the silver market, on the long-term market, and this is right now daily charts, has actually been showing us the same thing, that prices hasn't been able to go on a higher uptrend, and with prices as literally consolidating between $31.60 to $33.60 over the last 2 months for sure. So over the last 2 months, it has been behaving in this kind of manner. People are already expecting that it could be having a hard time for prices to push up higher, and definitely with this kind of market movement, original uptrend channel is still out of reach, has acted as a very strong resistance, and prices always stuck. Every time trying to break in, it's always failing down, and prices goes back lower afterwards, and it has always been the case. And the resistance area here, $33.60 to $33.20, has been quite a strong resistance area for the silver market. And definitely on the short term, the likelihood for prices to move on the fringes, so moving on this very tight sideways range, still remains. Prices are still weakening, and definitely no clear options from here are available for us for now, because with this kind of very tight market ranges, as you guys could see, prices are just dropping and then moving in the same ranges for a lot of time, guys. Because if you guys take a closer look on every single candlestick here, outside of the time zone where we started to see the US market sessions, and until the Asian session started, it's much better, but the movement has been very tight in each of the candlestick, and it's not showing the same kind of market movement that we have been seeing yesterday happening on the market, where prices starts to slow down, breaking down lower, giving us confirmation after confirmation, where this current price chart, we are not even getting a clear market movement and a very tight market ranges for now. So it's very similar with what we have been seeing happening here on Wednesday, with this kind of market ranges happening again. But certainly this time it's a little bit deceptive, I would say. Prices seem slightly trying to move higher, but in reality, if we are balancing out the lower side of the market movement, prices are just been moving in a very minimum movement for now. Okay, so definitely long-term market movement on silver, if you are looking at the daily charts, it's likely to be sideways with the tendency for prices to go back lower. With my personal opinion, I'm still seeing that chances that we could be seeing sideways with the tendency of bearish is really huge on this market, on the silver market. Okay, and if you have already been looking here, prices right now are still hasn't been able to give us any confirmations, because if you guys have been trading over the past week, I mean from this week alone, I'm sure if you guys have been trying to time a big momentum, it seems that prices are still stuck between these tight ranges, and this trading market movement has already been happening since the London sessions until now, trading between 3,320 towards 3,330, and hasn't been able to move much since then, and the price action is certainly not good. We are likely to see better market confirmations once prices could be moving higher or moving lower, but as of now we are not looking at even one yet. Okay, so we'll try to see what is happening on the other trading assets and what we can do out of this market situation as well. So definitely, if you guys have any questions about the markets, you guys are welcome to chat me on the comments or on the chats. I'll be reading if you guys do have any questions. And if you guys are trying to learn how to trade, and if you guys have any questions about the current market, you guys are welcome to ask me, and I definitely hope that I could help you with what you are inquiring, guys. But if you guys are saying that you guys wanted to get something more than that, you guys wanted to get trading ideas, trading signals, you guys could click on the link on my profile and check me out there, and I hope I could help you more, guys. Okay. Okay, so let us discuss what is happening on the US dollar index. So what happened on the US dollar index is we started to see that market movement on the US dollar index, it has been moving lower. Yes, that's the case, but so far the movement has been very limited, and definitely with how the market has been moving since the opening sessions on today's market. So right after this, prices has just been dropping, and right now it seems that the US dollar has started to find a rebound at the lower area again for once at $99.10, and it has already been rebounding near the low on the last 2 days. At Wednesday, prices has touched those prices and managed to rebound back at this price. So it seems that this could be a very particular move where you could actually start to see that prices are trying to rebound and trying to maintain the support area that we have been seeing so far on the US dollar index. And with this US dollar index move has come, what could be possibly affecting the market? So maybe one of the things we could start to see on the market is the possibility that gold could be weakened temporarily, as we have already been seeing that gold literally hasn't been moving much despite the weaknesses appearing on the gold. It seems that gold market movement has been limited, not surpassing 3,334, and we've already been seeing that possibility happening. And if we are trying to take a look on the longer time frame on the daily chart, it has been proven that prices are still trying to conform towards its downtrend movement, and we are seeing that the possibility for that to happen is still likely huge. But for now, we are also seeing that prices has also stuck on these lower ranges. So there are two possibilities where we could be happening. Is we started to see that prices won't be breaking down lower, which I think it's likely to be harder, and prices should be going lower next on the US dollar index despite the attempt to try to reverse. And second of all, if we started to see that prices to play below $99, we could actually see prices could soon return towards the downtrend channel and play below $97 on the US dollar index for the long term, because the downtrend has been very clear. Prices has been moving lower without any signs of any clear reversal until today, and the most recent action over the last 2 weeks has actually been showing us that the reversal has almost failed, and we can get the clear confirmations once prices could start break below $99 and stay below $99. But we are likely to see so, and we'll try to see how this changes. But so far, despite that, we haven't been able to see much changes on gold and silver for today. Yes, that's certainly the case, because everything is correlated, and with this kind of market movement, we are not going to get much out of the market today, as the tight market movement has still been ongoing on both gold and silver. Okay, so let us try to see what is happening on the currency market. Okay, so it seems that prices still hasn't been able to go higher, and signs of weakness are started to appear. So maybe we can see the resistance is still moving well, and we can actually see the possible start of a reversal happening right here on our live streaming sessions. So we'll see whether this could be a very great idea to short the market at the current price, or whether prices will be just stuck and return back towards 3,320 before rebounding back towards 3,330. And the market movement there has been moving multiple times in that directions, and I'm afraid that the same thing could also happen. Okay, so it seems there has been some good signs that could be happening from here. We'll see how this goes. Certainly it could be a very tricky situation once again, guys. As I've told you guys, there's a possibility that prices could start hit the low and tries to rebound again. That could also be the possibility. Silver market is also moving in that kind of manner for most of the times. So we'll see how this goes, and definitely I'm expecting that prices should be able to start to go lower, even though it won't be much, but at the very least a downside movement is expected from here on. Okay, so at least prices already starts to break down of the support area. We'll see how these changes will be moving, but definitely I'm expecting prices could start to move in a clear direction. If not, prices should be once again failing and rebounding for once again. So we'll see how this goes. As prices on gold, yep, starts to rebound again. So it is re-happening again. We'll see how this goes. Certainly my expectations, we could actually start to see weaknesses signs could maybe start appearing if that's the case. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. Prices are still moving towards the right directions. And yet again, prices are slowing back lower. So all of these are happening, and I'm not really seeing any big news for now. Okay, so it's a little bit of a different market momentum for now. Prices yet again rebounded again, and we'll see how this goes, guys. Okay, but certainly it's going with a long night, guys, that's for sure. So it seems that gold has actually still failed to break out higher and moves with bigger volatility, and I think it's mainly due to reasons where we started to see that the US dollar index has been weakening quite much, and I think it is mainly coming out from Trump, guys. Okay, so we'll see how this moves, and certainly that really helped to push things up on gold, and silver are also trying to push higher even though it's not that much. But certainly this is breaking news, I would say, that is happening on the market, and that really gives a little bit of a pressure on the market. But other than that, I'm not seeing anything much for now. And definitely the biggest things that is happening right now is on the currency market. So we'll try to analyze how things change on this side. So it seems that the US dollar index keeps on weakening with the possibility of the ongoing, continuing threats. And we are seeing that other market currency is going stronger. So for instance, US dollar Japanese yen could be a very good trade. NZD USD could also be a very good long positions as well, together alongside Euro USD. So we'll try to take a look on those currencies. So Euro USD, yep, it's been quite a good trade, even though market movement has been very limited, I would say. Price movement has been trading in these tight ranges. And other than that, US dollar Japanese yen for the short, as the US dollar index has been weakening quite fast, so this could also be one of the choices, but the momentum should be subsiding soon. And other than that, we also start to see that the US dollar Swiss franc could also be one of a choice to do some shorts, as price momentum suddenly comes back pretty quick and the rebound also starts to happen. So we'll see how this change. And definitely gold hasn't been able to move much yet. That is certainly true, that's the case. But over here on the silver side, prices still remains under pressure. Okay, so we'll see how these changes will be going. And definitely with this kind of a tight market movement, I'm not expecting prices could be going anywhere for now, especially after this breaking news. It hasn't been giving a lot of pressure on the gold market or giving the gold market a lot of reasons to jump. So it seems that prices are likely to stay on these ranges for now without any clear movements first. We'll see whether prices could be breaking out higher than this for now, okay, because that has been quite the key point on the gold market so far, whether prices could be breaking out higher. Meanwhile, we are seeing that silver still remains under pressure. So it's likely we are seeing a false momentum happening on gold, and probably we could see that gold could suddenly break down lower very fast. And let us see how this works. So far, yep, the market movement has been pretty drastic here on the S&P after the breaking news came out on the market, but most of the things started to rebound too. So we'll follow how the changes works, and definitely keep in mind for the momentum trades. Maybe if the momentum still goes on, continues, we could actually make some good trades out of it. If not, we'll try to see what the momentum is coming on the market for now. So far, nothing much yet from what I could be seeing. And we are back again to square one, where prices hasn't been able to move much. Okay, so we'll see how this works. It's going to take some time if prices just keeps on consolidating here. So at the meantime, we still have enough time, so let us try to take a look at the oil market with you guys. Okay, so oil market has actually been moving in a very similar fashion, guys, because prices are once again stuck in these ranges and hasn't been able to show a lot of clear momentums or any clear signs in the market. and definitely we are experiencing this kind of market movement. It's a little bit annoying, I would say, because it seems that most of the commodities are stuck on a ranging market movement and hasn't been able to show us any clear signs of the market. And with this kind of market movement happening, it's likely we are going to see harder market to trades. And if you guys are switching to bigger time frames, you can see that most of the time movement has been just moving in one big candlestick, and most of the markets are ranging or moving in a very small volatility, and that could be a big trouble. And we have already been seeing prices has been ranging since Wednesday on oil, and prices has just returned towards this range. So definitely not a lot of interesting momentum also appearing on the oil market. And if we are switching towards the daily charts, you can actually see that even much clearer, guys, that the market movement has just been moving on these ranges from the closing of Wednesday until today. It's been very similar with no clear signs so far. Okay, so we'll definitely want to see how this moves on and see what are the updates that could be coming up from this market movement later on. Okay, so definitely, like I said, $60 has been quite a strong support, but since there's no important movement that is happening for tonight, and prices are just coming back towards its previous high for yesterday's price, so we'll see how this goes. Definitely nothing interesting similar with what we have been seeing on gold, similar with what we have been seeing on silver. Prices has been stagnating with no clear direction so far. And yes, silver prices also right now still trying to test the support for once again, guys. Okay, so it's going to be a long night. Prices will be moving in this very boring sideways and showing us no clear market movements. Okay, maybe from here onwards we could start to see some better market movements. We'll try to see whether this will be happening, starts to break down lower towards this lower area, or prices will start to rebound for once again, because prices has been trading in very tight ranges and hasn't actually showed us anything yet for now. Okay, so both gold, silver hasn't been moving much, but right now the tendency should be going lower as prices hasn't been able to show any huge signs of changes. And definitely I'm expecting that prices should be touching the lower side for now until the end of our live streaming sessions for tonight. So we'll see how this works. Personally, I think this could be the start of the reversal, because this is what we have been trying to get the confirmations, and I think after the breaking news has been released, that really helped to give a little bit of pressure on the market and really jolted things up, as previously we haven't been able to see anything. Right now market movement has been a little bit changeable, starts to move, and we could actually see some move could be happening soon from here if things starts to break down lower, or I'm still seeing that prices should be breaking down lower from here, guys. Okay, and let us also see how these changes works on the silver market as well. And back on the currency market, I think prices also starts to rebound for once with the US dollar index weakening, and definitely the momentum is still there, so you guys could trade against the US dollar in this market for now. Okay, because signs of weakness are still appearing, and the gold seems like are still in a huge pressure for now, together alongside with the silver market. Okay, so prices continues to drop. We'll see how this goes. Selling volume is pretty huge. And with prices has been unable to break out higher, it seems that there's a chance we could actually see a breakdown happening on the market. For now, we are waiting, trying to see how this works on both gold and the silver market. As signs of weaknesses starts to appear, the prices couldn't sustain its upward movement until now. And despite weaknesses also appeared on the US dollar index, it's a bit surprising to see that the gold market is weakening. So I think it's a bit of something that we are seeing earlier on in the long-term market movement, where we are seeing that gold has a very limited upside on the long run, and I think that's the main reason we started to see that the gold market continues to go weaker. And we'll see how this goes, guys. Certainly the price movement has still been limited. We could be seeing further drops happening later on, still sometimes before we enter the US market sessions and on our VIP live sessions as well. So we'll see. Okay, so it seems that gold has been dropping in a very limited market movement. It's a little bit fishy, guys. Yeah. So make sure if you guys are already doing the shorts here, pay attention, guys. Try to watch out whether prices could be breaking down lower than 3324 area. We got silver so far, hasn't been moving much as well. So we'll see how this goes, guys. Yep, it's a bit fishy, and prices return towards higher prices again. Meanwhile, silver prices hasn't been moving much. Okay, so we'll see how this goes, guys. Okay, so prices turns out immediately rises up, despite what we are seeing on here happening is that we started to see that most of the market starts to rebound from what I could be seeing. And gold also starts to rebound, definitely alongside with the US dollar, which is quite weird. But definitely the price movement has started to go higher, and just now we hit our stop losses, right, the resistance, and then right now prices has already been going up higher. Okay, so it turns out that prices starts to break out higher, and it seems there's a lot of things happening on the market with what has been coming out from the president of the US. So suddenly he started to say a lot of things, and that really helped to push up gold prices in a very short period of time, and that certainly has given us something out of the market for now. So we'll see how this moves next. Certainly the price movement is very positive for now, with prices has been ranging over the last 4 hours, and suddenly just immediately moves from here on. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. Personally, we started to see that price movement has also started to slow down on most of the other markets. We'll see how this goes. But definitely with that high volatility, I'm expecting that prices should be slowing once again, guys. Okay, so I'll be paying attention towards those, because right now prices also starts to peak once again. And a lot of changes are happening. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of recap in our last 5 minutes for tonight's live streaming sessions. A lot of things does happen, yes, I do agree, and let us see how these changes will be working. But personally, I'm still seeing that with this kind of market movement, a lot of things could be happening. Make sure you guys be prepared. And definitely with what Trump has been saying, definitely we are going to see gold prices will be benefiting for now. It will be a very temporary shock, even though it won't be much, but certainly it is a big counter argument coming up from US president, and we are going to see more movements could be coming up next afterwards. Maybe next week we could be started to see more market reactions, guys. Okay, so that is definitely the case. We'll see how this goes, and remember, guys, gold will be benefited coming up from this market, guys. Okay, so yes, definitely huge volatility arriving. Okay, so for now, let me give you guys a little bit of conclusion. A lot of things happen on the market, yes, that's true, and that really helped to cement gold position in a very well placed positions after what the US President Donald Trump has been saying. I'll be discussing it more further on my VIP live sessions, so if you guys wanted to get access to those, check out my profile on the link. And definitely gold will be benefited, silver could also be benefited also. That could also be the case. We'll see how that happens, but certainly from what the market reaction has been giving us, that the market movement hasn't been that well. Prices has been ranging for most of the time, and we are going to see ranging on the silver. Meanwhile, oil market, I'm suspecting that prices could maybe start to break down lower, especially after that kind of statement. It's really going to bring down the oil market down. Okay, so definitely those are the key marks from the commodity side, that oil prices should be going down lower after what has been spoken out by US President Donald Trump, and gold will be benefiting more on the long run. And the currency side will be a bit mixed, but safe haven currency like Japanese yen will be strengthening. That will always be the case, so can think about doing shorts on the US dollar Japanese yen for now. Okay, so I think that's all for tonight, and we'll try to see how this works later on. Okay, so definitely the bullishness is coming after what US President Donald Trump has been telling the public. Okay, so I'll be discussing it more on my VIP live sessions, so welcome for you guys to join there, and hope to see you guys there. Okay, bye.